Learn to let go, hold on to let go, show it off, 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 show it off.
This is the Show It Off podcast, where you are supported to becoming shamelessly and unapologetically confident. I am your host, Sarah Faye Schaff. I am a confidence coach and creator of the online training program Peacock School, 11 Days to Confidence, where I help you implement tools and habits that will cause you to understand your worthiness. Each Monday, this show will give you applicable information, inspiration, and guidance to loving yourself and affecting the world around you in a way you've never experienced before. When you go to sarahfayschaff.com and join the community by entering your email, you automatically get a thank you gift of the 5 video series I created called Yoga for Confidence. So go get yours today and start implementing practices that will cultivate more self-love and confidence. Thank you for listening and enjoy the program, because I'm about to show it off. In this time, aren't you glad you've established a self-love practice? Being at home more, maybe being around family more, maybe being less busy, maybe feeling the impact of the social, collective, emotional fear and uncertainty. Aren't you glad that your confidence and self-love does not come from outside sources? It is extra important at this time we turn inward for our assurance. We turn inward for our self-love. We turn inward for our confidence. And when I say confidence, I'm not talking about just like thinking that you're pretty or being brave enough to try something you've never tried before. I'm talking about being okay. I'm talking about being healthy and happy and well from the inside out. The ability to turn inward when everything around you feels chaotic and uncertain. When everybody around you is afraid. When you're not able to touch or hug or be around or visit your friends and family and coworkers. When all this started, the first feeling, my initial gut reaction was a memory of being a child, and my punishment, if I was, say, rude at the dinner table, was to be sent to my room. And as a child, being isolated was my number one greatest fear and biggest, that was the main thing I tried to avoid. And so that was what my parents used as my punishment, because they knew that I would more than likely try to avoid that punishment and cooperate. But I was, as I am now, a rebellious person and like to challenge rules and question authority. So I was sent to my room a lot. And we're all being sent to our rooms right now, aren't we? So that is why today, for episode number 40 of the Show It Off podcast, I am going to give you a little bit of encouragement and reminders and practices that will help you not only remember to turn inward for your assurance and confidence and health and joy, but how to shift the feelings or lift the vibration when it is low. It can be hard to be out of control of what's going on in your life, of course. It can be frustrating. And I'm not going to go on and on about this because you're in it, you know, just as well as I do. Having your kids out of school, explaining their fears, talking through their fears, you being out of work. No one saw this coming, and I'm not going to pretend like it's easy, but we're in it, separate but together. So, let's first talk about your emotions. First thing when you wake up in the morning, if you're even able to get a good night's sleep, where does your mind go first? It's very easy for it to want to check the news. It's very easy to stress and worry about how you're going to make money. It's very easy to worry about how you're going to spend the day with your kid, another day at home. This is why it's extremely important to get into the practice the minute maybe even before your eyes open, the minute you arise, to bring your attention to gratitude. When I am waking up and I hear the birds chirping and my eyes are still closed, the first thing I let my mind go to is, I am so thankful that I'm waking up to the sound of these birds singing. I'm so thankful that I'm in a bed. Thank you that I have a cozy comforter to wrap over me. Thank you that my daughter is here snuggling with me, all sweet and pretty and little, and I love her so much. I'm so thankful for her. Thank you that I have food in my refrigerator. Thank you that I'm safe and healthy. Thank you that I have a phone where I can call my loved ones and check in on them. You see where I'm going with this? Right away, just rapid fire, list off anything you can think of to be grateful for. What this does is it brings your vibration up before you even get out of bed. Because if you don't do this, you're going to most likely start off at the bottom of the vibration in fear and despair and powerlessness. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to speak on it many times because it's extremely important. The emotional guidance scale, as taught to us by Esther and Jerry Hicks, they are the authors of Ask and It Is Given and more books. And Esther and Jerry are both have been renowned teachers of the teachings of Abraham. The teachings of Abraham are a collective spiritual group who they're not human. They're like, I don't know, I guess you would say angels or metaphysical teachers of a different plane. I don't know how else to explain it. But if you're a religious or a spiritual person, you can just think of it as God. And God speaks through Abraham and Jerry to teach us how to remember who we are, meaning when we're connected to our source or God, when we remember that we are spirits having a human experience. Okay? They teach us the emotional guidance scale. The emotional guidance scale is 22 emotions. Number 1 being in the realm of joy, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. And the bottom, number 22, being fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. So, I'm going to post a picture of this list on my Instagram at Show It Off Podcast on Instagram so that you can refer to it. You can screenshot it and refer to it, and it will help you bring your vibe up. So let's see you are in worry. Let's say you are in worry. That's number 14 on the scale. The practice is to bring yourself up as high as you can. So you're not going to go from worry to joy and appreciation right away, are you? No, that's not a fair expectation for you to have for yourself. So the more self-loving expectation would be, can I go from worry up to disappointment? Yeah, I can do that. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed my daughter can't go to school. I'm disappointed I can't work as well and often as I have been. Okay, well, disappointment's better than worry, but it doesn't feel that great either. Can we go up to number 8, which is boredom? Yeah, I'm pretty bored. I have watched Frozen 2 more times than I care to admit. I have played Elsa and Anna with my daughter many, many times a day. And although it's fun the first or second time, yeah, it starts to get boring. I'm not 4. I'm not 3, almost 4 anymore. So my mind isn't stimulated and excited by that very easily. And that's how I've been spending a lot of my time. But can I bring myself from boredom to hopeful? Number 6. Absolutely. I am hopeful that this too shall pass. I am hopeful that everything will go back to normal. I am hopeful that our health as an overall society will improve. Can I bring myself from optimism or from hopefulness to optimism? Yeah, absolutely. Because I already feel better thinking about what I'm hopeful for. Can I bring myself from number 5, optimism, up to number 4, positive expectation and belief? Absolutely. I do believe that this will pass. I do believe that there's a reason for this. I do believe that there are lessons to be learned and experiences to enjoy within this time. Can I bring myself up to number 3, enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness? Yes. I am happy to be spending more time with my daughter. I am happy to be resting and restoring. I am happy that I'm not sick, that my daughter's not sick, that my grandma and my grandpa aren't sick. Can I bring myself up to number 1, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation? Yes. I appreciate that I'm able to record my podcast right now. I appreciate that I had time to write this morning for my book. I appreciate that I have a beautiful daughter who I can spend time with right now. I appreciate that I have a home, that I'm in Hawaii, that it's raining, and it feels cozy to snuggle indoors. So you see what I just did? You can do that too. Like I said, I will post a picture of this scale so that you can literally trace your way up and feel better as many times a day as it takes. So now that we've covered our emotional and mental state, let's talk about self-care and self-love. So primarily, I want to remind myself and you that this is a time for helping others. This is a time for remembering that our actions affect others. So with that said, the more we can take care of ourselves, the more we can love ourselves, the better we can be for others. Yes, we want to eat healthy. We want to rest. We want to move our bodies every day. We want to, let me just rephrase that. We might not want to, but we must. We must move our bodies every day. We must eat healthy. We must take our vitamins. We must do our best to get sleep. And what physical practices are you doing? What mental practices are you doing to make sure that this is happening? As always, I'm going to remind you to start or improve a meditation practice. Let it be regular. Let it be consistent. For me, it's every morning before I do any other thing other than pee. I get up, I pee, I sit down on my block, and I meditate for 20 minutes. I worked my way up to 20 minutes after years of practicing just 5, 10, or 15 minutes. So start small, work your way up. The focus is to just breathe. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about meditation, something that I haven't spoken on yet, reminding you why it's important and powerful to meditate. So our thoughts and our beliefs create our experience of life. If our thoughts are often going to fear and worry and doubt and insecurity and inassurance, to not be assured, then our beliefs will follow and our experience of life will reflect that. For a lot of people, for most people, it's easier to think about nothing than it is to think about something great. Another way of saying that is it's easy to go into a negative mindset than it is to go into a positive mindset, especially when you're afraid or bored or out of control or things are out of your control. So if you can get yourself to just focus on your breath and sit still and simply allow your intuition to move through you, your spirit, your source, your divinity, the light love of God that is within you to take over, and just think of nothing and just be, your vibration will go up faster than you trying to think of things that make you happy or put you in a higher vibe. Does that make sense? Thinking about nothing is better than trying to think about something good because it's easier. It's more readily available to us. So when we practice meditation, we're just focusing on our breath and not focusing on any thoughts at all. When thoughts come up, we simply notice them and push them away, or let them pass rather, and be. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And that's it. When you make that a regular practice, then that light source of love and divinity is more able to have a louder voice within you. And that voice will always be a high vibe. That voice will always be joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. It will also always be neutral in emotion. It's not going to be an intense feeling. And that can feel really nice. It'll be calm. It'll be present, grounded, assuring. So let me see you meditate. And I would love it if you posted in your stories a little bit about your meditation practice, or perhaps where you meditate or how you feel after. And tag me so that I can see how it's going. Tag Show It Off Podcast, and I will be able to see and encourage and support you. So the next thing I'm going to request that you do for self-love and self-care up-leveling is to, as you move throughout your day, all day, asking yourself this question: what would someone who loves themselves do? What would someone who loves themselves do? So say you're in a situation where you're feeling a little bit bored. You walk over and open the fridge for the 5th time this morning. Ask yourself, what would someone who loves themselves do? The first intuition, the first answer that comes to that question is going to be the right answer, especially if it comes, like I said, in a neutral, grounded form. So I did this today, and my first thought was drink water. I'm not hungry. I'm thirsty. So a person who loves themselves would act on that answer. So right away, I drank a cup of water, and I gave one to my daughter as well. Okay, so you see, I was able to act on the question, up-leveling my self-love game. What would someone who loves themselves do? Ask yourself that again and again and again and again and again throughout the day, every day. Commit to doing this at least throughout this entire quarantine. And by the time it's over, it'll be a normal practice for you. And if you've fallen off, pick it up again and commit to doing it for a whole year. When you do this, you're going to change the pattern that you have been in. You're going to change what you've been doing. So that means you're going to have a different experience, a different belief, a different level of your pattern of self-love. So rather than like bored, mindlessly just snacking on whatever in the refrigerator, even if you're not hungry, you're instead drinking water. Well, next time you're probably going to go straight to the water. You see? Okay. The next thing I want to speak on is being resourceful and creative within this time of quarantine. How can you make it fun? This my friend Melissa is really, really good at. She sat down with her daughter and said, okay, your school's closed. Mommy's going to be homeschooling you now. How would you like to spend your days? And they got out a pen and a paper and let her daughter just riff on how she would like to spend her days. She was delighted to see that her daughter had a lot of really great ideas of how they could spend their days. And, you know, children are more creative than we are. They're less limited in their minds than we are. So asking a child is a great way to start. Also, being resourceful and creative is a practice that I have adopted from living on the island here. And I'm very grateful to have learned this. And it will behoove you to adopt this now because things are different. Things have changed. What used to work might not work now. So how can you be creative? How can you be resourceful to enjoy your day? Maybe instead of you just making dinner tonight, you get your whole family involved and you have like make your own tacos or make your own pizzas and make it fun. Maybe instead of watching another movie on Netflix, you make up a game or you play a game that you already know. Maybe oh my God, when I was a kid, we used to play hide and seek in the dark and with like the whole family, my dad, my mom, my sisters and brother and me would hide the whole house in pitch blackness. And it was so fun and scary and exciting. And one of my favorite childhood memories. My parents didn't have a lot of money or a lot of resources, yet they were creative and resourceful in making sure we had a fun childhood. You can do this now. I don't know the details of your life like you do, but I bet if you look around, ask questions, get creative, explore through and remember, maybe even research how you can be more resourceful and creative in this time. You might surprise yourself and have a lot of fun doing it. So another example I'll share, and I have a kid, and I know a lot of you do too. So a lot of what I am going to share has to do with that because obviously being a mother is my number one priority, and being that my daughter's out of school, it's very in my face of how I can enjoy the day with her. So I bought a pallet of strawberries from Costco recently, and they came kind of like a big egg carton, and you can use a big egg carton for this as well. I opened up the egg carton or the strawberry carton, and each little hole where these strawberries were placed, I put a little bit of dirt, and my daughter and I planted a seed in each one and put it on the windowsill and put a little bit of water and a saran wrap on top and have a little greenhouse going. Another thing you can do with like an egg carton is fill each hole with a different color of paint. And there's just something about it that makes it really cute and fun. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like, how can your trash become a treasure? How can you make something ordinary into something extraordinary? The next thing I'm going to suggest is you all have a project or a practice that you've been putting off, right? Like maybe you have that book idea you want to write, or maybe you've always wanted to play the guitar. Maybe you have always wanted to sing a song or create a YouTube channel. This is the time to do it. You have time. Don't let all of it be wasted with Netflix. It's like so much of what I'm hearing people are doing, and honestly, I find it kind of grotesque. Please, you are still a person. You are still a human with creativity and passion and opportunity, and now you have time. What are you going to do with it? I've been writing every day, and I don't get to write as long as I would like because my daughter has needs. Like right now, I can hear her calling me, you guys. I am in the bedroom. She is out in the living room, and I can hear her calling me. And, I know she's fine. I know she has her needs met. But what my point is that we get interrupted because we have family home or our life is different than normal. But we can still do it. We can still do the thing that is been on our minds and been on our heart that we want to do. Okay, I'm back. I had to pause to go check on my daughter, who of course is fine. Just wanted to show me where the cat was sleeping and that she thought it was cute. And I have to admit, I felt frustrated. Not because of one interruption, but because of the unknown of how many times I will be interrupted trying to do the work that I love. So I practiced what I just was speaking on and worked my way up from frustration to hopefulness. And I did it with my daughter so that she could see and that she can learn something that I wish I would have learned at her age. My goodness. So this also got me thinking about control. There's a lot that's out of our control right now. Like, I wish it would stop raining so I can record this with quiet, great sound for you. Of course, that's out of my control. So in times of a lack of control, it's important for us to focus on two things. One is what we can control, and two is letting go of control. You can control making your bed in the morning, what you eat, what you're thinking about, how you're spending your time in your house. Yes, there are limits. Yes, there are interruptions. Yes, there is more that you'd rather be doing. And just like when I was a child being banished to my room, I had to just sit with that. I had to sit with the lack of control. I had to sit with the discomforts and find the lessons within that. Personally, my lesson right now is an opportunity to deepen and enrichen and improve the relationship with my daughter. Being less focused on work and more focused on being a good parent is important. And it's for now, and it's okay. What is it in your life that you are learning right now? What is the lesson within the discomfort? My hope is that you will focus on gratitude, lift your emotions, improve your self-love and self-care. Ask yourself 1,000,000 times today, what would someone who loves themselves do? Be resourceful, be creative, make it fun, and let yourself enjoy that project or that practice that you've been putting off. And take care of what you can control and let go of the rest. If you could post on the Show It Off Instagram, the last post, and share with me how you have been accomplishing these things. What are you doing when you ask yourself, what would someone who loves themselves do? Let me know. What's that practice or that project that you're finally getting into that you've been putting off? I'd love to hear. Either posting it and tagging me, Show It Off Podcast, or simply leaving a comment on the latest post would help us to connect in this time. Thank you so much for listening. You are worthy, you are valuable, you are lovable exactly as you are right now. So go ahead and show it off. Every play of this show means the world to me. Thank you for your time and for listening. I'd love to hear from you now. Questions and comments are welcomed at showitoffpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for subscribing to the Show It Off podcast. And if you have a moment, if you could leave a review on iTunes, it would help other people to find this message of confidence. You could also help someone build confidence by texting this episode to at least one person now. Being self-loving means being authentic, bold, and confident. So shamelessly and unapologetically show it off.